People really don't know what their expenses will be because they don't know how long that they're going to live.
Americans are worried they won't have enough saved for retirement now more than ever.
Retirement is going to cost, for many folks, over $1 million.
Is no sure thing in investing, but a lot of people think that annuities may come close to that.
It's going to more safe things that they know. If they know they're going to need that money to supplement their retirement, well, then you can't play that risk.
This is the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr., founder and partner of Heischman Financial Services, serving the Columbus and surrounding areas. Jon specializes in educating pre-retirees and retirees about safe money strategies and ideas. Now, it's the Safe Money and Retirement Show. Here's Jon Heischman Sr.
This is the Safe Money and Retirement Show. I'm your host, Jon Heischman. Thanks for tuning in. I want to ask a question. Why only a few Americans have obtained financial security and peace of mind? You might think that those going into retirement have financial security and they also have peace of mind. But from my experience working with retirees, that is not the case. The majority are not sure and they don't have peace of mind. It's my job to provide that the best that I can. The definition of financial independence, it's pretty simple. It means that you can basically do what you want and not have to worry about money. That's vague, but it's real and it's a pretty good definition. So here's an example. Let's say you're able to live on $3,500 per month income in today's dollar. Pay your taxes and your bills and do the things with your life that you want to do, whether it be vacations, playing golf, hobbies, visiting your kids and grandkids, then I would define you as being financially independent. Now, there's a lot of problems and issues that we all face every day. For example, if you're living on an income that meets your needs now and you just retired, you won't have the same situation facing you in 5, 10, and 15 years down the road because of inflation and taxes. These are problems you're going to be facing. So let me go back to the individual that I mentioned earlier that can live on $3,500 a month, and he feels rich because, as mentioned, they can do what they want to do. They're financially independent, but this may seem to be a very low income to another person. The family that is used to living on $20,000 a month before retirement would find the thought of living on $3,500 a month unbearable because their lifestyle and their makeup and spending habits are much more. It's all relative. There are no right, no wrong answers or solutions because in retirement planning, everyone is different. It all depends on you, your personality, your lifestyle, your goals, and how you want to live your life. With all that said, I want to get back to why so very few Americans achieve financial independence and have the true financial security that allows them to do what they want to do in retirement. From my perspective and from many years of working with all the clients that I have particularly in the retirement category, it is my opinion that the single biggest problem and the number one cause of people not achieving their financial goals is people haven't done the proper planning for their retirement future. I could say that sums up retirement planning is to achieve goals. I think the majority of the problem stems from the educational system that we have in this country. Even though many of you may not have been in school for a number of years, our educational system is based on teaching individual students subjects, many of which are irrelevant. And many of you have been taught Latin, for example, trigonometry, or certain versions of American history, just to give some examples. But when and where did anyone teach us how to take care of ourselves and plan for our financial future? Who taught us how to deal with the real financial issues that we're going to face prior to retirement in order to be financially secure and not have to worry in retirement? And many have spent a lot of time and money getting an education. And to this day, other than what we have learned on our own to become a professional in whatever area you're doing, I don't know of any education given at any level about how to plan for your financial future. So where does that put the pre-retiree and the retiree? It puts them to where they have to go out on their own, obtain information about this topic, or in any event, it doesn't matter if you're a blue-collar worker, a business owner, top executive, or anything in between, you're not taught how to take care of ourselves financially. And I think that's one of the reasons that attracted me to the retirement planning profession, was to help people get the education, get the knowledge needed to become financially independent. I'm going to give you a number to call. It will be forwarded to me for the purpose of scheduling a 10-minute telephone call to answer your questions, your concerns, and why you think you are not financially ready for retirement. And if you're in retirement, many still have that feeling. We can talk about it on a casual basis. There's no cost, there's no obligation for us to spend some time together over the phone. 888-426-0177 is the number to call. 888-426-0177. And your message will be schedule a call with Jon. So if you look back, when did you first hear about taxes and inflation? How to plan for them, or how to deal with the reality of paying a mortgage, bills, the markets, cash flow, budgeting, or insurance? Why is that not a mandatory course that would benefit everyone, regardless of what your specialty is that you're studying for? The bottom line is You've got to plan your financial situation as carefully and with as much attention and energy as you would plan a vacation. I think everyone would agree that planning a vacation, while fun and entertaining, is not as critical as planning your financial future. Let me give you an example. When you go on vacation, you know where your destination is, where you're leaving from, and usually you've already explored the alternative ways to get there. And then you figure out what choices you're going to make based on these options. If you follow your plan, your vacation will almost assuredly come off smooth and successful. The question is, are you doing that with your money? And so many are not. And that's why you want to make sure the advisor you're working with does retirement planning, help you with your goals and objectives, and show you how to accomplish your goals, and not just investing your money. Solving problems for clients gives me great satisfaction. Now, it doesn't always turn out favorably because the numbers aren't there as far as having enough money to do what you want to do. But the solution is there from the standpoint of solving the problem, making adjustments and making changes to get you on the right track. I'd love to hear from you. 888-426-0177. Stay with me after the break. I want to continue on this same topic because I feel it is so important and can help solve the problem why only few Americans have obtained financial security and peace of mind.
Life expectancy is at all-time highs, so that means you've got a future to plan for at any age. If you have longevity in your family tree, then you need financial education from someone with the experience and knowledge to guide you into and through your retirement years. Jon Heischman and the folks at Heischman Financial Services are committed to helping you achieve your retirement goals with a low-key and trustworthy approach. Call Heischman Financial Services today to get started on your retirement future. Call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Heischman Financial Services has your future in mind.
Welcome back to the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman. To contact Jon, the number to call is 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Once again, here's Jon Heischman.
Welcome back to the Safe Money and Retirement Show. I'm your host, Jon Heischman. Why only a few Americans have attained financial security and peace of mind. That's the topic. I've been discussing that, and I want to continue on with this topic. So we have to look at, are you taking stock of where you are today? Are you taking a look at what goals you really want? Part of planning is goal setting as to what each retiree wants. Then we can also address, are you developing different strategies and options that might help you get there, and then picking the ones that work best? Are you constantly monitoring and updating your planning process for future changes like tax laws, investment markets, government regulations? And are you working on this with the same energy that you do when you plan for a vacation? One of the reasons it's critical to have a yearly update is not only to review your plan, your income, but your goals. And if we're going to continue with financial security, goals must be reviewed because they will change during retirement. And quite frankly, from my experience, people don't plan. And that's why they don't achieve financial independence. In my opinion, I don't think it's really that complicated from a planning standpoint. The details, of course, can become very complicated. So the primary and most important thing to understand is that you've got to plan for your financial future. If you're entering retirement now or going to be soon, it doesn't matter. The best time is right now. Never think that it's too late, and it is what it is. Because in most situations, changes can be made. But the problem is so many retirees aren't aware of options, planning tools that are available today to help them meet their goals. I love to spend time with retirees in having a discussion about their plans, their goals, and what they want to accomplish during the rest of their retirement. Then help them to achieve those goals, if at all possible. Now, grant you, there are times when it's just not going to work. The goals far exceed the retirement savings available. But many times it does work. And I think it's important to find out if it can. And if you could take a minute to give me a call, we can find out and possibly see if there is a solution, anything I can bring to the table that you haven't been exposed to. 888-426-0177. Again, 888-426-0177. We can meet in person or have a 10-minute consultation over the phone, whatever works best. I can give you all kinds of information, tips, techniques on how to help you plan and what you should be aware of. The best planning will allow you to have knowledge of where you are today, knowledge of where you want to go, knowledge of the choices, options, and alternatives that are available to you, how they work, and the pros and cons of all of these choices. Then you make an educated decision on which options and choices you're going to make from a planned advisor such as myself. And I think the real trick is to understand all of your options, do the planning, then make your educated decisions. People don't plan to fail. Obviously, they just fail to plan. So I want to talk about and briefly outline the areas that are tied together and should be coordinated so that you'll be aware of what you need to look at. Now, these are the areas that might need to be addressed so your entire plan fits together and that you don't miss one of these areas that could have an adverse effect on the other areas involved. Cash flow and budgeting, very important as a starting point. Income, tax planning, estate planning, and asset protection. Here we want to protect your money and estate from the risk that each retiree could face during retirement. Of course, retirement planning and tax planning, savings planning, insurance, along with risk management planning, education funding, if that is your goal for a child or grandchild, and business planning, if you either have or want to start a business. So there are a lot of areas tied together in your financial life, and it is really impossible for most people to put this all together into one plan. That's why they need help, making sure each area has been evaluated, understood, and comprehended. Then we build a plan with all of these considered. Again, what you do in one area is complementary and beneficial to all other areas. And I know it sounds detailed and a lot involved, which I think is another reason people fail to plan. But once you get started, it all comes together and falls in place, making the plan much simpler than what it may sound like when you consider all of these areas. Hopefully, all of this makes some sense. And if you get nothing else out of this show other than the awareness of the importance of coordinating planning and how to think differently about your money and the planning that must be associated with that money, then I would have done a good job. And hopefully for those of you that feel you're lacking in this area, will feel good about the fact there is hope, potential, knowing that there are solutions and future potential. There really is no substitute for planning. There's no bigger secret or magic investment that's bigger than planning. In my opinion, proper planning is the number one financial secret. The best kept, best hidden, least understood, and most misunderstood secret of all. If you just plan, and plan often, as I mentioned earlier, yearly, make adjustments, keep on track, you'll end up among the few Americans who are financially independent. Earlier, I mentioned people don't plan to fail. They simply fail to plan. And that's an old cliche that's been around for a long time, a little worn, and possibly many think it's insignificant. So please think about your situation. Have you received the proper planning, or have you just received investment advice? And if you've just received investment advice, I hope you've made money, your accounts are growing. That's what we want. And you can keep those accounts, but you still need a plan that's going to put all of those topics together that I talked about. So the money that hopefully you have earned will be secure and give you peace of mind throughout retirement. I have to bring this show to a close. I'm out of time. I wish I had a lot more time because there's so much to cover. So if you'd like to hear more, take a look at your planning that you've done or haven't done. Give me a call. We can have a discussion. There's no obligation and there's definitely no cost. So the number to reach me would be 888-426-0177. Once again, 888-426-0177. Thank you for joining me and listening to the Safe Money and Retirement Show.
The Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr. To get in touch with Jon, call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. For more information about Heischman Financial Services, visit their website, HeischmanFS.com. That's HeischmanFS.com. Join us again next time for the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr.